Right. Great good evening, all of you. Now, let's move into the differences between the two techniques which we have discussed. Number one, census. All of you remember 100% enumeration, wherein each and every element of the universe is taken for statistical investigation. And the second method, sampling, wherein instead of taking each and every element, we take a small sample from the same population and then generalize the result on entire element of the universe, but we take only a small proportion of it based on our understanding. Clear? Now let's move into some of the differences, students. If you look into the first one, it's about suitability. See, with census method, just assume that there is a class of 20 students, and this class of 20 students is made up by the school in such a way that all 90% students from the previous class have taken place or have been admitted in that particular section. So all 20 students are 90% plus one. So basically, we are talking about extremely good result oriented section, right? Now, in that, even if you take a small proportion of the class, instead of taking all 20, even if you take 5 students, the chances are the result will be very close to all 20. Why? Because all of them come from the same category and all of them belong to more than 90%. So even if 5 students are taken and the result is generalized as a sample, then the result will be same. Why? Because all of them are similar in nature. So where the population is homogeneous, go for sampling, right? But where the population is different, appears to be different in some segment or the other, and needs to be studied intensively for each and every element, then census method should be preferred for heterogeneous type of population. Heterogeneous means different from one another, each element. Come to next one. Economy. Now, if you take each and every element for study, naturally it will be expensive. But if you take comparatively smaller sample, it will turn out to be cheaper and inexpensive as such. It goes without saying. It's anybody's guess. Come to the third one, reliability. Now, naturally, when you take each and every element and the results are analyzed, then reliability, confidence will be higher on such type of method, and census is that type of a technique wherein you are taking each and every member. So even though money is involved, time is involved, but reliability will be generally higher when compared with sampling method, because naturally you are not taking each and every element, you are taking only a small proportion of it and you are generalizing it. So naturally there might be an element of doubt with the credibility of the results shown by the sample. Am I clear? So reliability might be a little bit less. Come to fourth one, nature of error. Now in census, the only problem is when the data is collected. Purposely, if someone collects data in a manner which suits him or the organization, then it would be said as biased collection. Biased collection, students, is related to favoritism shown in collection of it. That is only the problem which you can find with census one. Otherwise, this method is generally error free. So bias in collection is there. But in sampling, if a sample is there and even in there there is a bias, then naturally the same problem will compound even in the sampling method. And then another problem which cannot be avoided in sampling method is the sampling error. Now, what is the sampling error, student? Sampling error is an error which will definitely be there on the basis of small size of the sample you are taking. Since we are trying to generalize the result of the small sample, naturally you cannot be absolutely sure about its accuracy when you do it for all of them. Let's say, for example, if 100 candidates are to be a part of the population, and if you take 20 of them and the result is generalized of 2400, then there might be some element of discrepancy in believing upon those results, right? In comparison to if you take all 100 of them as a part of your statistical investigation. So 20 if you take and you generalize it, there will be some degree of discrepancy which is called as sampling error, which you will find in every sample. That is taken for granted. Therefore, you should be very careful in picking the size of the sample depending upon statistical investigation. So 4 differences: census and sampling. Thank you.